I'd like to share with you some of the things I've been studying from the New Testament in the book of Colossians, chapter 2. And I suppose I could title this study, "The Tools the Narcissist Uses to Sit in Judgment Over You." In Colossians chapter 2, we find these warnings, if you will, from the author of that epistle. And he says things like this: "Do not let anybody mislead you or delude you. Do not let anybody carry you off as spoil or make you a prisoner. Do not let anybody sit in judgment over you. Do not let anybody defraud you by declaring you unworthy or disqualified." The malignant narc has many tools in his toolbox with which to sit upon his throne of judgment and attack your conscience with beguiling and deceiving arguments that he will claim, the narc will claim, are grounds, the legal, lawful grounds with which to shame you and basically make you feel like a piece of trash. The narcissist, every single time in your life, in my life, will never, ever, ever judge you or evaluate you, appraise you, if you will, according to Scripture, according to the Torah, or according to any spiritual writings, for that matter. Because the narc is not a spirit-based person. His spirit is essentially dark. It exists. His spirit operates. But for all intents and purposes, the malignant narc is dead inside. And will remain that way. And I could give you reams and reams of Scripture to prove that, but not today. Don't let him sit as a judge over you. This is a commandment from God. The narc is going to base his judgment of you on several things, and the book of Colossians addresses this. All of these things, all of these grounds, these legal, quote, legal grounds he's going to use to judge you with are earthly, are material, they're external, they're flesh, they're human. All of his arguments will be lacking in one key ingredient, one key factor: the Spirit of God. He's going to ignore that. The narc is going to use vain, silly, stupid, man-made philosophy. The narc is going to use worldly standards, earthly ideas, earthly philosophies as he sits in judgment over his target. That's all he's got. What I'm sharing with you is everything I've gathered out of the book of Colossians chapter 2. And man, if you get a chance, read that chapter. You'll see I'm not pulling this out of my rear end. This is coming from Scripture. He's going to judge you on things that, on appearances. nearly everything he's going to judge you on is based on appearance. Primarily what makes him look good. His arguments, his tools, if you will, with which he uses to judge you are absolute folly. They are folly because he's not in, even if it's your parent, if it's your child or your parent, a relative, anyone, that doesn't give him the qualifications to sit in the seat of judgment over you on anything. On anything. Men and women of conscience have one judge. We have one judge. And we know who it is. It's the Creator. It's Elohim. It's Hashem. And He guides us, and I won't say He judges us, but He corrects us. He leads us. He instructs us through that one factor in our personality that is most closely tied to the Spirit of God, and that is our conscience. That is the instrument of judgment in our life, our conscience, not another man, not another woman. It's that life, that light that God uses, that God placed in each of us. I found some really good scriptures here, and I'd like to share them with you. I pray that you and I both let these sink in our hearts and become real. David said in Psalm 139:13 that it was God who knit us together in the womb. It was God who formed our inward parts, not mommy and daddy. Quote, mommy and daddy, end quote, did their part. Daddy fertilized the egg that produced the flesh we live in, our spirit lives in, the real us lives in, but it was God who created your spirit. Isaiah 42:5, it is God who gave breath to man. It is God who gives spirit to those who walk on the earth. This is interesting in Isaiah 57, where God says He inhabits eternity. He says He is holy. And He says He dwells with the man or woman who is thoroughly penitent and of a humble spirit, which are two qualities diametrically opposite the abusive personality. Job 32:8, there is a vital force, a spirit in man, and it is the breath of the Almighty that gives men understanding. So my point in all of this, what is my point? There's no man who has a right. No man. It does not matter if he's a politician, a preacher, a rabbi, a mullah, a quote mother or quote father, who is qualified or has a right to judge you in any matters, internal or external. You are a spirit being inhabiting a physical body, and it is the creator of that spirit, and only the creator of your spirit, who has a right to judge your worth. That's what I'm trying to say, to judge your worth. And God says that your soul, each individual, every last single one of you, I don't care what your stance is in this temporal life, whether you're a millionaire or homeless, your soul is worth more than your single soul in the mind of God is more valuable to Him than the entire universe. That's your worth. That's your true worth. So screw what they think about you, man. F them. I mean it. Screw them. I'm going to believe what the Scripture says about me. Period. Thank you so much for watching.